If you want to start high-ticket affiliate marketing in 2026, it's not about just promoting the most expensive products. It's really about understanding the math behind fewer sales at higher payouts, and it's really about choosing the right platform for the niche that you're entering. So I'm going to walk you through the entire system, the three main categories where high-ticket commissions exist, how the economics compare across each one, and why your platform choice, blogging or YouTube or social media, is often more important than the niche itself. So by the end, you'll have an exact understanding of where the real high-ticket affiliate marketing opportunities are, how to position yourself as an expert in competing with established players who've already been doing this for years. Now, before we get started, if you want my free AI launch kit, I'll help you choose your niche, build your entire content plan with you, your affiliate strategy. Click the link below in the description and pinned comment. And now let's get into it. So here's the fundamental difference between low ticket and high ticket affiliate marketing. With low ticket products, you're playing a volume game. So it could be like a $50 product, 30% commission, $15 a sale. To make $3,000 a month, you need 200 sales. So with high ticket, the math changes. A $2,000 product at a 25% commission pays $500. So you only need 6 sales to make that same $3,000. So that difference isn't just about math. Also, it's about traffic requirements, conversion optimization, and how much you're actually doing, how much work you're putting in for each dollar earned. So let's break down the three main categories where high ticket commissions exist. So first one is software and business tools. So these are platforms where businesses pay monthly or annually subscriptions. So you earn a percentage of every single sale. It's recurring for as long as they remain a customer. Now, the commission structures can vary widely. So some might pay a one-time commission of $500 to $2,000. Others pay recurring commission, typically 20 to 40% every month. So for example, a marketing automation platform charges $300 a month with a 40% recurring commission, pays you $120 per month per customer. One referral generates $1,440 annually. 10 customers is over $14,000 a year in recurring revenue. So it stacks up over time. The advantage of software is that buyers, they understand the ongoing costs. They're comparing features. They're not questioning whether they need this or not. A lot of them are B2B. They're actually businesses who are just going to pay for this without thinking about it. So your content can help you evaluate the decision. And this is a category that I joined over 287 different affiliate programs in the software niche. So there's tons of different ones. I really focus on 2 to 3 now, but software is a big one because it stacks up over time. Now, the second category is financial products. So retirement planning, investment platforms, wealth management tools, insurance. These have some of the highest commission structures in affiliate marketing, some of the highest ticket. So some like financial affiliate programs could pay $500 per lead, not even a sale, just connecting, getting somebody on a quote or a demo or something like that. There's also, sometimes you can get a really high payout, for example, like an 8% commission to 10% commission on a retirement plan. So I did this with gold IRAs, for example, gold individual retirement accounts. People put money into that. You hear about Birch Gold and all these conservative podcasters talking about it. But it's like if you get 8% or let's say 10%, which we got on a $500,000 retirement account, somebody funds, that's $50,000 for a one-time commission. So the economics work here because customer lifetime value in finance is extremely high. The challenge here is compliance and regulation. You're dealing with licensed financial products. Your content needs to be educational without crossing into advice that requires credentials, like you have to be a certified financial planner or something. Now, the third category is high-cost physical products. So we're talking premium outdoor gear, boats, RVs, luxury items, private jets, professional equipment, right? Even a small percentage of this thing makes you a lot of money. For example, a $5,000 boat at a 5% commission is $250. A $15,000 small vehicle, ATV, RV at 8% is $1,200. So these aren't like subscription products. So there's no recurring revenue, but the commissions per sale can be higher. So something like, think $2,000 to $5,000 plus, like hot tubs and things like that. Now, not every high ticket niche is worth it on every platform, and choosing the wrong one, that means that you're going to be having really hard competition. So for example, with blogging works really well for hobby niches with expensive products. So like fishing, boating, camping, golf, photography, woodworking, hobbies. Why? It's because people are researching for these purchases, reading detailed reviews, comparison guides, buyer guides, and all that. And Forbes and the big media sites haven't taken over the outdoor category when it comes to blogging. So those can work really well for that. And the search intent is really clear. So someone could be searching for like best saltwater fishing reels under $500. They're actively shopping, looking for things on Google, and your content can answer those questions. Give them a simple, I love blogging because it's the most simple form of content. You don't have to show the product in like a video, right? You just have to lay it out in a very templatized format with images and text. So you give detailed product analysis with affiliate links built in, and your game plan is to create a lot of articles, especially if it's physical products, ranking for a lot of affiliate content, and then it's just a numbers game of ranking over time. And blogging is also good for B2B products, services where buyers are doing a lot of research. So like business software, professional services, industrial equipment. Think things like, everyone's ranking for like CRM software. That could be really competitive. It's been around for a long time. But something like field service management software or these obscure, more vertical integrated markets could be good for that too. But with blogging, very competitive niches like finance, some really hard software ones, they're going to be really hard to compete against these big media sites, like outranking like Wirecutter or some established software tool. So this is where YouTube comes in. So YouTube works better for software and finance because these categories are much easier to rank for on YouTube. People still search on YouTube, but you can actually get views on it, whereas a blog post might be really hard to rank in those niches. Finance content's also good on YouTube, not just because it's easier to rank, but because people want to see a real person explaining these concepts like retirement planning, investment strategies, what to do, financial tools. They require trust. Videos can help build trust easier than just text. So YouTube's algorithm favors newer content and engagement over pure just domain authority for a blog. So a well-optimized video on a software comparison can outrank on established channels and just sit there and get views over the course of time. So you're building this backlog of video content that gets views month after month after month with affiliate links in the description. Plus YouTube wants new content anyways, right? They're constantly refreshing the rankings. It's not like Google where it's a 10 rankings and it gets kind of solidified over time. And you're not competing here against established 10-year-old websites with thousands of backlinks. It's just videos. So you're competing on content quality, presentation, basically click-through rate and retention. So let me break this down a little bit simpler. So let's say you're doing fishing gear and that's your niche. So you create blog with detailed reviews, comparison guides, buying guides. There's so many different products and include the word best. Best signifies buyer intent. So, and when you look at how many products there are, it could be like, all right, it's fishing rods and reels. There's not that many, but there's actually like hundreds of variations of pieces of content you could create. Best bait casting reels for bass fishing, best rod and reel combos, I'm not even that good at fishing, but there's tons and tons, probably hundreds of articles we could write just about different types of fishing rods and ranking them. So you're building that content specifically in mind. And then, for example, on the other hand, if you're doing business software, you build a YouTube channel with product walkthroughs, simple tutorials, showing people how to use it. For example, like Wix tutorial, how to build a website, boom. Affiliate link in the description. Or it could also be best web hosting, best VPNs, best anything, software, or if it's finance, it could be best credit cards. Those videos are a lot easier to rank for almost impenetrable keywords on Google. So the economics support both, but the platform, whether it's Google or YouTube, will depend on what you actually do. So think about it yourself. If you're doing high ticket affiliate marketing, do you want to just write the content or do you want to create videos on the content? So for software, the biggest opportunities right now are more in these vertical specific tools rather than general platforms. So everyone's writing about best email marketing, best CRMs, best web hosting. It's been around for 10 years. They're very saturated. So what's underserved is industry specific solutions, contractor management software, dental practice platforms, real estate transaction tools, gym and fitness studio management systems. These really obscure platforms that charge $200 to $500 a month and might pay 30% recurring commissions. So the advantage here is lower competition, highly targeted buyers, someone searching for like dentist software, right? They're not just browsing, they're probably going to buy something. And another obvious one is AI tools for specific use cases. So like AI tools for specific industries, AI video editors, AI automation for e-commerce, these newer AI categories where the competition hasn't solidified yet. Timing is a crucial component of high ticket affiliate marketing. You have to kind of get in and create content a little bit ahead of the curve. Again, we don't want to create content on best web hosting when it's been around for 20 years. We want to create something that's newer. AI, image editors and things like this. Now, AI is a little tricky because a lot of those tools are free or low cost, or they don't have affiliate programs yet. So the balance really is in software for high ticket is finding the most used popular product category ultimately that has the right pricing. So, for example, why does everyone promote web hosting? Because everyone uses it. Everyone that needs a website uses it. Why does everyone promote Shopify? Well, every single e-commerce user uses it. So, on one hand, not as many people are going to be using those specific vertical integrated ones, but they have an easier chance of ranking because they're not as competitive. So, with AI as a category, though, you can find those like new emerging ones that a lot of people need. So like video editors, for example, or things like that, where the price point is somewhere between like $30 to $100 a month. Everyone uses it, and you can start stacking up recurring commissions. Now, for finance, you need to understand what you can actually promote. So you can't give investment advice for specific things or securities, right? You don't want to act as a financial advisor, but you can promote like educational platforms, tools, services, retirement accounts, different types of insurance, things like that, or credit monitoring and improvement services, business financing and lending. Even like programs like credit repair, for example, pay $100 to $300 per lead. Business loan platforms can pay $500 to $1,000 for qualified applications. Then you want to stay away from anything that requires security licenses or financial planning credentials unless you actually have them. So you stick to tools, platforms, services that individuals can manage on their own, simple things that you can just sign up for. Now, for physical products, the best opportunities are in hobby niches with expensive gear where enthusiasts are making really high purchases. So again, saltwater fishing has rods, reels, equipment running into thousands of dollars. Boating has electronics, safety equipment, accessories. Camping has roof tents, fridges, recovery gear, tons of stuff. Photography has really expensive lenses, bodies, lighting equipment, all this stuff. Even woodworking, right, has really expensive premium tools and machinery. So you have to think about what is like at least $500 to $2,000 or higher that people would buy and get at least a 10% commission on. And then for blogging, again, you want to avoid niches that are dominated by major media brands and tons of content. So for example, something like electronics, right? If you're going to talk about things like that, that could be oversaturated unless you go deep, right? And you start talking about VR headsets or things that are newer, gaming steering wheels, and things that are more obscure, right? That's where it actually, there's obscurity in every category. That's the thing most people don't think about. There's a lot of obscurity in products and affiliate marketing in every niche. So whereas electronics, okay, seems very competitive. But what about new VR gaming steering wheel car things, right? Like whatever that's called. That's a newer category, very expensive, doesn't have a lot of content. That's a hobby. So there's always opportunities. You just have to dig a little bit deeper, which is where sometimes a little bit of niche experience can help. So here's how to evaluate if a niche is worth entering. So search for these buyer intent keywords in that space, see who's ranking. If it's all major media publications, it's probably too competitive. But if you see individual small blogs, smaller sites ranking, then there is an opportunity. And then check affiliate programs in that niche. So you could say, are the commissions good? Do programs have positive reviews from other affiliates? So you can just look at content volume too. So if the top ranking content is thin and generic, you can win by creating something better. The goal here is finding the intersection of decent search volume, good commissions, and competitive weaknesses you can exploit with better content. So real quick, I want to show you just some reason most affiliate marketers trying to do this high ticket thing never break through, and the math is really broken from the start. So let's say that you're promoting a $20 book on Amazon at a 4% commission. Pretty standard product price, standard commission. That's 80 cents per sale. To make $10,000 a month, you need 12,500 sales. That is over 400 sales every single day, right? There's people that I want to do like, oh, we do book affiliate stuff, and it's do these different categories. And it's like, okay, you're going to need like 5 million visits a month or something like this, right? So with that, you need 400 sales a day. You need 1.25 million sales a year to make really good money. And also get software, for example, a $200 per month subscription. So $200 a month with a 40% recurring commission. So that pays $80 a month to you per customer. So to make $10,000 a month, you need 125 active customers. That's 4 new customers per day for a month, in 1 month. Now, you're not going to probably do that in a month, but that could be, think about it as even if you've got 10 new customers a month, so one every 3 days signing up through your affiliate links, you have lots of content out there. Within a year, it would be at $10,000 a month from that. So those numbers start to go up. Now, yes, some customers churn out, but it's usually around 5%. So you're constantly feeding that more than they're leaving, if that makes sense. So in this scenario, to hit $1 million annually, you need just 500 active subscribers. So 500 businesses using a platform you recommend through your link, not 1.25 million sales on a tiny little product. So to make $1 million in affiliate commissions, you'd need 50,000 sales of that $20 book. You'd need 500 sales of a $200 a month software product, or you'd need 20 sales of a $500,000 retirement plan if you're doing finance at 10%. So you just have to think about the math behind it. It's just kind of, I call it like back of the napkin math. You're just kind of looking at it like, all right, well, the only numbers I have to think about are the price of the product and my commission rate. Right. And then the whole thing is based on, well, how many clicks can I get? How competitive is it? So this is why the math of high ticket can work. It works a lot faster. You don't have to build a huge following to do this. So ultimately, you just want to choose a niche, choose a high ticket affiliate marketing niche where the economics actually makes sense based on the effort you're putting in. You're putting in a ton of effort on creating content, writing blog posts, making YouTube videos. You might as well get rewarded on the back end for the work that you did. All right, now let's talk about building the actual system based on the path that you're taking. So if you're going to go with the blog route for physical products or B2B tools, the content strategy is built around these commercial intent keywords. So you're creating best of guides, product roundups, detailed reviews that are targeting people searching Google. So you're building assets that compound over time. So your timeline here is longer. You're looking at 6 to 12 months before you're seeing some consistent traffic. But once that content can rank, they become this more passive income with minimal ongoing work. So there's a ton of work. There's no such thing as passive income, right? But it's putting that work in at the beginning to build a library of content that makes money with or without you ultimately. Like if I stopped making YouTube videos, they would still get views every month. Now, if I stopped for months and months and months, it would really slow down, right? So you have to kind of keep watering the grass, so to speak. But a lot of the work is front loaded. Now, if you're going the YouTube route for software or finance, your strategy here is demonstration and comparison. So you're creating videos that show platforms in action, comparing them, walking through them, all of that. So your advantage here is faster initial traction. So a well-optimized video can start getting views within weeks, right? A lot faster than a vlog. So you're building trust, your personality, your presentation, and all of that. The challenge is consistency. YouTube rewards regular uploads. You need to maintain momentum with new content, not just publish. Wait, it's not passive. But let's talk about realistic expectations with each approach. So with vlogging for high-cost physical products, you could see, commissions by month 4 or 5 or 6. It really just depends on your work ethic, really. I'm not going to promise anything like that, but if you've published 50 quality articles within the first year, you should be seeing affiliate commissions at that point. Now with YouTube, for software or finance, you might see your first commissions in month 2 or 3 earlier as early videos get traction. So then we're talking 1 video a week, 52 a year. You could start generating decent amount of quality leads and sales and actually making decent affiliate commissions by then. But again, ultimately with high ticket, we need less volume, higher payouts. So here's how to think about it. Ask yourself, what are you equipped to create consistently? Are you comfortable at researching products and just writing about them? Then blogging is the answer. Are you comfortable? You want to do it a little bit faster because you talk about products on camera. It's kind of a skill that you'll develop over time. Then YouTube is your path. Do you want to be a teacher on YouTube, right? Don't pick a niche just based on the commissions. You pick one where you can create content that you feel good about, that you can do consistently over the course of time and build a real brand in it. Well, there's some common mistakes to avoid, right? You could spread your content across too many categories. You can do multiple niches. You could try to spread yourself too thin doing social media and blogging and YouTube and just none of the content's good. You need really consistent output and focus on one platform. It's either a website or a YouTube channel. It's hard to do both at the same time. So here's an action plan. You choose your category. So it could be software, finance, or high-cost physical products. You got to choose the platform you want to do based on the competitive landscape. And then research free affiliate programs in that niche with different commission structures, right? So then create 10 pieces of content targeting these buyer intent keywords or search terms. Analyze performance, and then you can double down on what works. So this is a good business model for people that are willing to create quality content consistently and play the long game. The math works when you target the right niches on the right platforms. Now, if you want help identifying these niches, you can get my free AI launch kit. Click the link in the description and the pinned comment below. It's the exact process with AI to find your niche, develop your entire content plan, and your framework for a high-ticket affiliate marketing business in 2026. So again, understand the math, choose your category and platform, and build real authority and actually help people provide good recommendations, and the affiliate commission should follow. So I hope that was useful to you. Please like the video. Check out other videos on my channel on affiliate marketing. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next video.